How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing well and looking forward to the weekend, which I hope you all enjoy. I want to thank all of you who left me very supporting messages following my last video. I truly appreciate it. One of the things I'm surprised about is that a great deal of you enjoy the coverage of the mafias in Italy and Sicily. I think that the more you learn and understand the history, you'll find it much more fascinating. And as I've said, all roads lead to Italy. For you readers out there, there's a book titled Mafiopoli, authored by Sinead DeBoer. The name of the book represents a town in Calabria that's heavily influenced by the mafia, precisely the 'Ndrangheta. DeBoer actually moved from Amsterdam to Calabria in 2006. And during her first summer in Italy in 2007, the incident in Duisburg, Germany took place. And I've covered this incident in the past, which is called the Duisburg Massacre, which took place on August 15th, 2007, where 6 members of the Pelle Romeo clan were shot and killed outside of the Di Bruno Italian restaurant. The murders were the result of a conflict dubbed the San Luca feud between the Nerta Strangio and Pelle Romeo clans. Over 70 bullets were fired on that night, and CCTV footage captured the 2 shooters, Giovanni Strangio and Giuseppe Nerta, leaving the scene, both of whom are now serving life sentences. DeBoer became interested in the 'Ndrangheta and began investigating by interviewing locals, prosecutors, and cooperators called pentiti. In Italy, pentito translates to repentant. She details how the organization operates and connected small towns of Calabria to international and global criminal networks. Okay, off topic. I recently came across something for those of you interested in Sicilian Cosa Nostra, a mysterious Italian terrorist group, Falange Armata, who's claimed responsibility for some of Italy's high-profile attacks, which were mostly bombings. This group sent a threatening letter to Toto Riina, boss of the Coglianesi, while he was incarcerated at the Opera Prison in Milan in February 2014. Riina was sharing yard time with Alberto LaRusso, a leading member of the Sacra Corona Unita. At the time, he was in the 41 bis unit of the prison. During his rec time, Riina was talking and making a lot of threats. These conversations were recorded by hidden bugs and provided prosecutors with insight into Riina's thinking. Among the subjects he spoke about were negotiations between the mafia and the state. He also revealed Cosa Nostra teneva sotto controllo il telefono del giudice Paolo Borsellino. Translated, Cosa Nostra monitored Paolo Borsellino's phone. Borsellino was a prosecuting magistrate who was blown up by the Sicilian mafia in July 1992, 2 months after they killed Giovanni Falcone in the same fashion. So a letter was sent to the prison addressed to Riina, basically telling him, shut your damn mouth, remember your family is free, we'll take care of the rest. And what I found interesting is how did anyone on the outside know what he was discussing in the prison yard? It obviously only came from someone with access to the tapes or the transcripts. Also, what was LaRusso's role? Because it was highly unusual that he was allowed yard time with Riina, because Riina's status as a 41 bis inmate only provided him with solo recreation time where he was under close supervision. Anyway, I've received a great deal of messages regarding the latest Lucchese gambling arrest. Many of the messages had to do with what, in my opinion, will be the outcome. And I believe I gave my opinion in the video covering this topic, which is most, if not all the defendants involved, will take pleas in exchange for the least amount of time. I imagine most of the defendants, with the exception of Joe Perna Sr., do not have criminal records. And Perna's in a tricky position because not only does he have his sons as defendants, but his new wife and stepson as well. In the Operation Heat case, he cut a deal that spared his ex-wife any prison time. The problem he's now faced with, it's not one person, but 4. A while back, I predicted to someone that Perna would catch another case, and that prediction came to fruition. I also predict that he'll eventually get jammed up with a significant sentence. He's a predicate felon, which makes him a repeat offender. And if convicted, he can receive a longer sentence. The charges are serious, and being student athletes were recruited as bookies, something that created a media frenzy. A judge may impose a lengthy prison sentence as a deterrent. He's also viewed as the leader or head of this sports betting operation. So even with the plea, he could be looking at between 5 and 10 years or more. Then there's parole to deal with once he's released. In 2015, he received 10 years for Operation Heat. But in New Jersey, inmates can become eligible for parole after only serving 1/3 or half their sentence if it's a nonviolent offense. I believe he only served between 24 and 36 months. I remember he was a complete mess up until he began serving the sentence in early 2016. All of the bravado and tough guy persona went out the window. He was paying bloods in New Jersey to protect him once he went in. I called him a few times leading up to him going in, and he sounded like he was on something. I had even mentioned it to Johnny Sideburns, who told me he's probably self-medicating, and laughed. But he didn't sound good on the phone at all. After he went in, I sent him some books to read. His ex-wife told me that they had to come from Barnes & Nobles, so that's where I ordered them. And I know people will want to know what's the names of the books. I don't remember all of them, but one was Swan Song. Perna and I never seen each other again. By the time he was released, in and around 2019, I had already walked away from that life. There was a time that I considered him a friend, but he proved to be anything but. Perna was someone who wanted everyone to know what he was, and I was taught to do the opposite. One afternoon, I met him, and I had a woman with me. So he goes into this story about when they locked him up for Operation Heat, his neighbors were talking that they had a gangster living on their block. And he responded by saying, "I know I'm a gangster, but I don't need the whole neighborhood talking about it." I remember being embarrassed after he said it. The woman even mentioned that he was trying to toot his own horn. I get being proud that you're a Lucchese member, but there's a time and place for everything. If you haven't liked this video yet, please take the time now and give it a like, as it helps with YouTube's algorithm. Anyone who'd like to show their appreciation for videos like this, or more importantly, help me to continue making them, you can donate with the super thanks icon down below, or through the PayPal Cash App links in the video's description. Let me quickly mention my blog, also called Sit Down News, especially for those of you who still enjoy reading. The site can be found at sitdownnews.com and is a paid subscription. I'll say this, I don't get any joy by seeing these arrests and the fact that Joe Perna has yet another legal headache. What I do receive is affirmation that walking away from that whole lifestyle was the right decision to make.